Hello, welcome to Prism Technologies. I am Venkat. This is part 47 of ASP.NET GridView tutorial. In this video, we'll discuss about sorting a grid view control that does not use any data source control at all. Please watch parts 44 to 46 before proceeding with this video. We'll be using table TBL employee for this demo. To retrieve data from this table, we have implemented employee data access layer in the previous session of this video series. Let's quickly recap the contents of this employee data access layer class file. So this has got this class employee with 4 auto-implemented properties. This class is basically used to encapsulate employee information that's present in this table TBL employee. And if you notice, the employee data access layer class itself, it has got the static method getAllEmployees, which is going to return list of employees. This method has also got an input parameter sortColumn. Basically, this parameter is used by this method to determine the column based on which to sort employee data. And if you look at the implementation of this method, it's pretty straightforward ADO.NET code. First of all, we are creating a variable of type listEmployee. We're then using the configuration manager class to read the connection string from web.config file. We are then using that connection string to build our SQL connection object. And then look at the SQL query, select star from TBL employee. This is assigned to a variable of type string. And then if the input parameter sortColumn, if it is not null or empty, we are then appending this order by clause to our SQL query. And then using that SQL query, we are building our SQL command object, opening the connection, executing the command, and then looping through each row, and then building an employee object, adding that employee object to the list. Once we are done looping through each row, we then finally return that list. So that's our employee data access layer. Now let's flip webform1.aspx to the design mode. Let's drag and drop our grid view control. Let's auto format that to choose brown sugar scheme. Now I don't want to use any sort of data source control. So within the page load event of our webform1.aspx, okay, if not is post back, meaning if this is the initial get request of this web form, then I want to invoke getAllEmployees method of employee data access layer. Now this method takes an input parameter sortColumn, so we can specify the column based on which we want to sort the data. If you don't want to sort the data by any column, then simply pass null. But I want to sort the data based on employee ID. And this method returns list of employee, so I'm going to set that as the data source for our grid view control, and then invoke data bind method. At the moment, for our grid view control, sorting is not enabled. Let's go ahead and enable sorting, and to do that, get to the properties of the grid view control by pressing F4, and then click on this properties icon. By default, allow sorting is false, but let's set that to true. Alright, so now let's run this. As you might expect, when the grid view control renders, it's going to sort the data based on employee ID column. Alright, let me click on this column, and notice that I get a runtime error. GridView 1 fired event sorting, which wasn't handled. So let's handle this event. So first, let's generate the event handler. So let's get to the properties of the grid view control. Click on the events icon, and then double click on this event sorting to generate the event handler. And notice this event handler method receives an object, gridview sort event arguments object. Okay, and if you notice, this object has got two properties which are very useful to us. Sort expression. So this property is going to contain the column on which the user has clicked. So that will tell us by which column the end user want to actually sort the data. And then I have another parameter which is sort direction. This is going to tell us whether to sort the data in ascending or descending order. Okay, and if you look at this sort direction, this is actually an enum. So that's an enum. If I right click on that and go to definition, so look at this, ascending and descending. Alright, so let's use those two properties of that object to actually implement sorting. So I'm going to call employee data access layers get all employees method. And notice this method expects a sort column to be passed in. So how do I get the column based on which the end user want to sort? I can use this object sort expression. That's going to give me the column name, but then I also want to specify whether I want to sort the data in ascending or descending order. And to do that, so that's our sort expression, and then we need to give it a space, and then I want to specify the sort direction, whether I want to sort it in ascending or descending order. And then we are going to set that as the data source for our grid view control, and then invoke the data bind method. Okay, so let's run this and see what's going to happen. Okay, so let me click on this column and look at what is happening. It's saying incorrect syntax near ascending. Okay, so let's see what is actually happening here. So if you look at this, what's going to happen, we pass in sort expression. Basically sort expression will be the column name, employee ID, and then we are saying space and then sort direction. Sort direction will either be ascending or descending. So obviously our query will be something like this: select star from TBL employee, order by maybe employee ID, and then it will either specify the sort direction is either ascending or descending. So when I say ascending, and then when I execute this query, I get this error, incorrect syntax near ascending. You can actually put the breakpoint, and then when you actually get into this method employee data access layer, you can actually see that SQL query. It will be exactly similar to something like this: select star from TBL employee, order by, this will be your sort expression, and the sort direction ascending or descending. And to make this query work, all we need to do is, instead of ascending, we need to specify ASC, and instead of descending, we need to specify DESC. Okay, so those are the keywords that are recognized by SQL Server, not the complete words. Okay, so now what we basically can do here is a small trick within our code behind file. Instead of passing the sort direction like that, I'm going to create a variable here and then do the conversion. So string str, let's call this sort direction, and then I'm saying, okay, this variable should be equal to e dot sort direction. Okay, if that one is equal to sort direction dot ascending, okay, if that is ascending, then I want to set that to ASC for ascending. If it is not ascending, then we know it's going to be descending, in which case I want to set it to DESC. So basically we are saying, set this variable. If this expression evaluates to true, then use this value, otherwise use this value. And then finally I will pass this to this method. That's it. Okay, so now we should be receiving ascending or descending. So let me run this. Okay, so it's sorted by employee ID in ascending order. Let me click on name. So it's sorted in ascending order. Let me click on the name once again. Look at this. Is it sorting in the descending order? No matter how many times you click, it's not going to sort that in the descending order. And why is that? Let's understand why is it not sorting in the descending order. That's because, let's actually comment this lines, and then let's say response.write. Then I'm saying sort expression is equal to e dot sort expression. Then let's say response dot write, put an HTML break there, and then let's say what are we getting as the sort expression. So sort expression, sort direction, not expression, e dot sort direction. Let's actually convert that to string as well. Alright, Now let me run this and see what's going to happen. What values am I getting for that sort expression and sort direction? Let's examine that. So I click on employee ID the first time. It says sort expression is employee ID and sort direction is ascending. I click on that once again. Look at that. No matter how many times you click, the sort direction is always going to be ascending. And if sort direction is going to be ascending, then what we are saying, if sort direction is ascending, set that to ascending. Okay, so since it's always to is ascending, we are always going to get ascending within this variable, and that's what is getting passed to this method. That's why we only have the data sorted in ascending order. Okay, so if, for example, if I click on name, look at that, sort expression is name and the sort direction is ascending, and no matter how many times I click, it's always going to be ascending. That's why it's not sorting the data in descending order. In our next video tutorial, we'll see how to correct this so that this bi-directional sort works as expected. Alright, on this slide you can find resources for ASP.NET C# and SQL Server interview questions. That's it for today. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.